Hey guys, this is Aaron. I wanted to talk to you today about why Yes. Yes is so misunderstood in our industry, and a lot of people don't know how it can help them build their shop into this powerhouse that can just keep growing and keep growing and keep growing through some simple processes that actually make marketing a lot more effective and even in some cases allow you to work around marketing when it's not working for you. So let's give you some examples. So Yes is a powerful tool. Yes allows you to build your customer base. And it allows you to do this by you understanding that you have to strike when the iron's hot. And you may not understand why, so let me break this down for you. On a Monday, you get a phone call, and it's a customer requesting an appointment, wanting to come drop off their car for brakes or whatever it might be. You let that customer come in, you let them get in the shop, you then discuss it with them, and then what ends up happening is you sell the job and it just happens over and over throughout the day. Well, by the end of the day, you're like, oh man, that was a busy day. How many cars did we have? He ended up with 12 cars. Then Tuesday comes around, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday. And each day customers call that day or the day prior or even a week prior wanting to schedule or drop off their vehicle. So let's play around with this and see what we come up with. We're going to ignore Monday and let's just think that on Monday we directed traffic for the entire week. How did it land? So let's say on a Tuesday we ended up with, let's say, 8 customers that made appointments. On Wednesday, 9, on Thursday, 7, and on Friday, 10. Now, we'll switch colors. On Tuesday, we ended up with, let's say, 3 walk-ins. On Wednesday, 5 walk-ins. On Thursday, we'll do 4, and on Friday, we'll do 2. Now, the reason we think this is because we had X amount of appointments, and we ended up with more car count than we had in appointments. So we ended up on this day with 11. 14 here, and then right here, 11, and then here, 12. Now let's talk about what's actually happened. You're saying to yourself, wow, we had 8 appointments. We actually ended up with 11. We rocked it. This day we had 9 appointments. We ended up with actually 5 more, so we got 14. We rocked it. And you go through this assuming that's how this day was built. See, the power of Yes is not just about understanding, that I want to work on more. I want to bring more to my shop. It's also about not letting yourself be deceived by your calendar. So if we were to dive deep into this, what's actually happening is on Tuesday, we didn't really have 8 appointments show up. And I'm going to tell you that again, you didn't really have 8 appointments show up. Most people just go by the total count of the day. Very few actually go through and verify how many of these appointments showed up. If you do at your shop, congratulations, you're one of the rare few, but most do not. So what ends up happening is on Tuesday, maybe 7 showed up. And you actually had 4 walk-ins. On Wednesday, instead of 9, we actually only had 6 show up. And that means we actually had 8 walk-ins here. And then on Thursday, instead of having 7, you ended up with 6 appointments show, only 1 did not, and we actually had 5 walk-ins. And then on Friday, this was the juggernaut, the farthest out from Monday when you had a lot of people calling days out in advance, and maybe you started pushing people out because you're trying to control the shop, limiting its growth and trying to keep it out of chaos, you actually had only 2 show. Believe it or not, only 2. And here you actually had 8. So what ends up happening, I'm sorry, not 8, 8 more, so it would have been 10. So what ends up happening is because you're trying to bring control to the shop, you're actually limiting your growth. And that limit to the growth because you're trying to bring control. And why are you bringing control? You want to give great customer service. You think that if you can do it all in a certain order, in a certain process, you know where it's all at, it'll work. I'm here to tell you, sometimes you have to bring systems and processes in place so the system can manage the customer and maybe you don't have it all memorized and it all works together. Now, if you can understand what's going on here in a nutshell, people are calling. They're booking appointments by your suggestion. Now, if they call on their own and they say, hey, I can't come till Friday, that's them telling you they want to come on Friday. But if you say, we're busy, we can't do it until Friday, then what have you actually told them? You've told them no. By you telling them no, they have an opportunity to call the Firestone, the NTB, the local dealership, another mom and pop shop, whatever, to get that shop to take their pain away. And when they call that shop and that shop takes their pain away, you may have just lost the customer. That's the part you got to see. Which leads us into our next subject. So we've been talking about how to control the calendar and everything else. And let me just say, by the way, I am talking about saying yes to more if you work on. If you work on Ford, Chevy, Dodge, and Honda, Toyota, Nissan, and another Honda calls up, another Ford shows up, you say yes to that. If you work on only European, you say yes to that. You only work on diesels and another diesel calls, you say yes. But if somebody calls you up with a tractor, which is not what you work on, a school bus, which is not what you work on, a bulldozer, which is not what you work on, don't say yes. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about yes to more of what you do. So let's move over here to chasing leads. What are you doing when you're chasing leads? Car calls up, or customer calls up, and they say, my car's making this noise. Can you help me? And you, of course, say, yeah, absolutely. Or my car's leaking, or it's got a light on. And you just jump in right then. You smell blood in the water, you go for it. And what are you doing? You're curb selling in that moment. You're trying to get that customer over the curb into your shop. So you're chasing this lead. If you chase the lead, only to tell them, but I can't get you until Friday, what have you done? That's like getting the fish on the hook, and now you're just going to let it circle the boat for a week? Guys, the odds are it's going to come off that hook. You've got to get them in the boat. So if I'm going to chase that lead, it's always is now a good time, like we talk about in the anytime script, which you'll see and hear about in other videos. But you have to always be is now a good time. How can we get this car into our shop today? We have to chase this lead proactively because this lead is so important. We have to get this lead into our shop to make them a customer. Now, what if they're already a customer? You're not just chasing a lead. Instead, you're chasing a customer. If you lose that customer and they go to somebody else, they're now their customer. Until they've returned to your shop again for another visit, you can't say, oh, they've been coming here for 20 times. They've only been there once. They're not theirs. They're still mine. No, no, no. Whoever had that customer the most recent, that's their customer. So you have to understand that if your customer has left your shop and gone and tried somebody else, the odds are they're probably not going to come back. They've just cheated on you. But you gave them the freedom to do it. You didn't get them back into your shop. So when it comes to chasing customers, you have to do everything in your power, if they've been to your shop, to get them in now. Preferential treatment. That is someone that is showing you they know, like, and love and trust you, and they want to come back to see you, Mr. Advisor. Mrs. Advisor, you took their pain away last time. They're calling you on their own. That's showing that marketing is working with the shop, your reputation, you're memorable, they want to come back. You should try to protect them above everybody. That comes to the last setup I want you to see with this yes concept. When you're collecting a customer base and building your base into something that's absolutely huge, something that can carry you on into your future, you have to do that by seeing this like this. It's almost like a herd, if you will, that you can't let go. So as all these customers are here, right here, these are all your customers. If they decide, if this customer here decides, I'm going to go over here and try this shop, they just jumped out of your setup, and when they jumped out of your herd and jumped over here, then you may not get them back. You have to keep them in here. Well, let's say on this day, you go, Aaron, 11's a lot, but 14 for our little shop would be too many. If I said yes and went to 16, I'd be pushing the limits of my shop. I get it. I get it. But if you push the limits of your shop, you start to lose control, and things start to get a little chaotic. That means you need more systems. But you have to do this because there's something else that you're going to lose. If you lose that customer, what's going to happen is your car count, where it was going up, is all of a sudden going to start to go down. If this is your car count, and this is your ARO, and your ARO is going up, you have to see that there's a time in business, I'll switch to red here, that you need to let your car count continue to increase while your ARO goes down just to save the customer. If in the middle of a day you have, let's say, I don't know, we'll say in an entire month your shop has 500 hours available. With 500 hours available, and you say we're going to bring in, we'll do easy math, 400 cars every month. Well, let's do 250 cars. Every car has 2 hours a car. So that's going to give you an ARO probably somewhere around that $300-$400 range, depending on your labor rate, etc. So at 2 hours a car, if you keep saying yes, what's going to actually happen is you're actually going to bring your hours per car down, which is going to lower your ARO, right? So if your ARO starts to drop because you keep selling work and your technicians start complaining that they can't get to all of it, they actually start doing weaker inspections, they don't maybe get as much found, and then you end up getting weaker tickets. You sell more on them. You're still closing as much as you can, but you end up with a smaller ARO. The difference is, though, you didn't lose a customer. As you built this customer base, this entire base, all these people that are in this herd, they've not jumped out. You've kept them in that group. You cannot let them get out. See, as you're chasing these leads, you may go, Aaron, my limit's 500 hours. If I get any more car count, if I go above 250 cars, it's going to cause me problems. So if you've got 250 as a limit, and if you pushed it to 275 cars that month, you may say, oh my gosh, Aaron, that extra 25 cars is going to break us. But what I want you to see is that if you do that extra 25 cars, oh my gosh, your techs might surprise you. They might actually be able to pull off more than they've done before. You might surprise yourself with your organization ability, and things might come together more than you thought before. And what I want you to see is, as you grow this shop, something's going to start to come together for you. You're going to get confidence and get so many customers coming and asking for you. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I am wanted, I'm needed. They need to talk to me. I'm special, I'm important. And as that happens, you become the center. And these customers keep coming and asking for you because you're the one representing the store, because you understand the power of yes. And when you understand the power of the yes, and that car count keeps climbing, then that marketing, because you said yes, is more effective. And if they even say no, and they don't come in, even though you told them come right in now, we know we tried everything we could. But if you scheduled them out and then they said no, the issue is we didn't strike when the iron was hot. They were trying to come to your shop. People don't call just to hang out, guys. They call because they want you to help them with their pain. So dive in, help them with their pain, resolve the issue, get them in, get it taken care of, because it's such a huge deal, guys. All right, I hope you understand this is all about saying yes to the type of cars you work on, get your schedule knocked out, understand how you need to do this day in, day out, make sure that you're always chasing those leads. Don't stop chasing those leads so you can build that customer list, and don't let anybody out of that group. Contain them. Keep them there, even if you have to dip your average RO, temporarily I might add, until you can hire more technicians and get them in that store. That's how you grow a big, busy store, and that's how you grow a big, active customer base that's loyal to you, the advisor. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video.